Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself. I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on the program, everybody. Look, we've been to media days. We've covered a lot of media days between the Pac-12, Big 12. The old school days when BYU had its own singular one day. And you get those interviews whenever you get them. So for at the very end of the day, for Hans and Scotty to be like, they're ready to shut this thing down after 2 days of media days. And Boise State's head coach walks up. Hawaii's head coach walks up. Mind if I put some headsets on? Sure, why not? I'm all for it. So Mountain West Media Days is a wrap. And we're gonna bring up some Bronco Mendenhall a little bit later in the program. Isn't it crazy that you think about Bronco Mendenhall, though he wasn't a coach at Utah State, JJ. He's replaying coming back to the state of Utah. We chatted with Rich Rod at Media Days. Obviously, Scott Frost and that whole situation with UCF. Also, we're in a different era now. Teams are doing whatever they can to have a recruiting edge, to have a let's bring this thing back. And anyway, I've been fascinated by the conversations with Bronco, Bryson Barnes yesterday, their quarterback, and frankly, I think that it's going to be a fun last go for Utah State in the Mountain West. Is this the last full season?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because next year,
2026, the new Pac-12 is born.
What a weird thing. Try to go back and explain to your younger self that San Jose State is going to be in the Pac-12.
Well, they will not.
Oh, no, they're not going to. Fresno State's
They're
going to be
the
in the
only
Pac-12.
state that got left out.
I was thinking of who else?
Even Texas State got in, but
Texas,
not San Jose State.
San Jose State. Poor Coach Ken, dude. He's like, what do we need to do?
You need to have people show up to your games. That's what you need. Let's start with that.
I've been to that stadium a couple times. It's abysmal. It's abysmal to try to go to a football game.
There's
There.
nicer high school stadiums in Utah than.
Well, it's not just that. It's a depressing situation.
Yeah, it's tough.
So
it shouldn't be though. You're in the heart of
the Bay Area,
a tech mecca. You're in the Bay Area. You should be a juggernaut.
Nah.
And they don't deal with the academic requirements that Cal and Stanford do. You should just be absolutely killing it, but they're not funded and supported the way you have to survive there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of challenges they have that you don't have anywhere else.
All the states, all the different states that are going to be in the Pac-12 is It's like we got some breaking news here. Speaking of replaying it back, speaking about running it back again, NBA free agency news that you weren't expecting to get in this first segment, but here we are. JJ from the NBA desk and Rose City desk, breaking news. What do we have here for us?
I'm actually sitting at the Damian Lillard desk.
Uh-oh.
Sponsored by Weber State Athletics. 9-time NBA All-Star Damian Lillard is finalizing a 3-year, $42 million contract to return to the Portland Trailblazers. That according to Shams Charania of ESPN. Of course, all news goes through Shams in the NBA. The deal is expected to include a player option in 27-28 and a no-trade clause.
Okay.
Shams writes, a storybook reunion home for the 35-year-old. So, essentially, in my opinion,
this is where he rides off into the sunset?
He got the big buyout with the Bucks, and now he's still going to get paid pretty darn good coming off an Achilles.
I was going to say.
To end his year where he's the all-time leading, and his career where he's the all-time leading scorer in Portland. So kind of a great story and a great end for Damian Lillard in the NBA. And he's going to be able to sit out and relax. He's going to go back to where he's comfortable at home and then eventually return to the Blazers when he's healthy. This is a great outcome for Damian Lillard. And I think it's going to be good for the Blazers long-term because they're going to have a young, exciting team, but then he's still going to be able to be a part of the franchise and be a part of that next wave. That's cool.
What would you make your starting five, all Portland starting five, all Portland Trailblazers starting five all time? So you got Clyde the Glide.
Sorry, Terry Porter, but Damian Lillard's your point guard.
Yep, Clyde the Glide.
You got to go with Drexler for sure. Rasheed Wallace.
You got to go Rasheed Wallace. Oh, Cliff Robinson?
That's a good debate.
And then Arvydas Sabonis. Yes?
Sabonis has got to be your center.
Sabonis.
Has there been a better center?
By the way.
Oh, wait, whoa. Bill Walton.
Are we doing this? Well.
1977 champs.
And he was Rookie of the Year. Yeah. And because he's no longer with us, and you get that boost of.
He won a championship.
But Arvydas Sabonis would actually, if he were the age that he is, if he were playing now, and he was in his prime.
That's what sucks. We never got to see him.
He and Jokic would be battling back and forth for guys who look like they're barely in the league, but
he was
actually
Jokic
scoring.
Before Jokic.
Yes.
Another name I'll throw out: LaMarcus Aldridge. And his career was cut short, but when he was healthy, he was an all-star. Brandon
Greg
Moore.
Oden. Oh.
Great timing there. That was great.
Sorry, I didn't want to bring up bad draft situations.
You could have gone that or Sam Bowie. So.
Sam
but I liked that you went Greg Oden.
Well, you said injury. Had he been not hampered by the injury all the time, there you go.
Well, Bill Walton also cut short. I mean,
yeah.
Every Blazers center, it feels like had a career cut short by injury.
Who left the Jazz and went to Portland had a better situation? Wesley Matthews.
Yes.
He was one of those
signed
guys
with the Blazers.
All right, so there you go. Damian Lillard to the Portland Trailblazers. You got the news here first, or from Shams. I'm telling you, I think Utah fans, but you're paying him also. You're paying him, so he's getting paid because he's not going to be back until. I mean, this is a full year gone, right?
He will not play this season.
This is a full year gone on top of the fact that he's 36 and a half, 37.
He's 35 currently.
Okay, so
when he comes back, he'll be that old.
Right, and so I think you have to add another 6 months probably just to be able to make sure that you're all right and that you're back to playing shape, all those things. So I think it's cool, though. I like Dame in Portland. That's a cool thing for the Rose City. I don't like Portland like as a place, and they don't deserve Damian Lillard, but man. He loves Ogden. He loves Portland, man. I'm telling you. And he's got some real loyal feelings, right? For wherever he goes and kind of makes an impact. And he will always love those communities. Wonder how it's going to go over with.
He's a rare breed in today's pro sports where he is very loyal. And everybody understands why he asked for a trade.
Yeah.
And he didn't control where he went.
Yep.
And he did go to a place where he could contend. It just didn't work out.
He rolled the dice on what it would look like in another city with another superstar.
Yep.
And there we go. All right. We're kicking off the show in a very unorthodox way. If you had on the in the cards that we were still going to be listening to some head coaches from Mountain West Media Days on top of Damian Lillard getting the move over to Portland again, Portland 2.0 for Damian Lillard, you were sorely mistaken if you would have told me that was what we're going to do, but then here we are. That's exactly what happened. So we'll take our first break of the day. We've got tons going on in the program. Our program brought to you by G2G Bars, by the way. G2G Bars, the perfect protein bar. Give it a shot today. Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, and Associated Foods. The G2G Bar is the perfect protein bar. And also, Trajan Wealth, bringing you this breaking news this hour. TRAJANwealth.com. That's TrajanWealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement. Let's take that first quick break here. We'll come back. When we return, Wayne Cook, former quarterback at UCLA and also on their broadcast team on the radio, he's going to join us. We're going to talk a little bit of UCLA football. I want to know how Nico's doing. I want to know how Deshaun Foster's looking now, what year two is going to bring for UCLA in this iteration now that they have high hopes with a five-star quarterback in their backfield.
How does everybody in that area feel like life in the Big Ten? I'm curious
I want
to
see what it's like. And UCLA, very different from USC in terms of the attitudes on that as well. So Wayne's going to be able to dip in on that. Plus, of course, they fire off against the University of Utah, the very first game of the season for the Utes. So stay here. More to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex, with the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. Wild start to a Thursday edition of the program. Thanks for being with us on the show. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. We were at Big 12 Media Days last week, and then everything just wrapped from the Mountain West Media Days down in Vegas just moments ago with Hans and Scotty. And here we are, back talking some football and talking about the start of the season. Joining us on the program right now, one of our favorite people, former quarterback from UCLA. He's on the broadcast, the game day broadcast team. Wayne Cook joining us on the program. Wayne, we appreciate you joining the program. Man, what a weird offseason that everybody is having, it seems like. But UCLA's gotten some big wins in the offseason. Thanks for being with us, man.
Well, I'm happy to be here, guys. It's been crazy, but doesn't it feel like ever since like the big changes, players can get played, transfer. It seems like every year it's just more and more chaos, more and more additions, more and more court rulings, and it just feels like there's no end in sight. Now we can't figure out what kind of playoff going forward. The Big Ten and the SEC are arguing like they're the Democrats or the Republicans. We just got all kinds of issues. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, speaking of Democrats and Republicans, like, let's get an executive order about NIL for football. I mean, come on. Like, this is where we've gotten now, too. So it has gotten political. It always has been, but an actual political football that people are kicking around. But let's talk UCLA and Coach Deshaun Foster, what they're trying to figure out here. How has Nico looked coming into camp or coming into practices in the spring and coming into the summer? Obviously, the team hasn't gotten together yet, but I feel like if you've got a great signal caller, people feel like any team's got a chance, and certainly Westwood deserves to have some winning ways to come back and to get back into that discussion, because the Big Ten is a wild landscape.
It's pretty crazy, and it's funny too how you have players like, if you think about the players that were recruited with Nico, you had Dylan Raiola, you had the Oregon quarterback Dante Moore. You have all this stuff going on, and yet you look at what one of them did last year, even though it was on a different team, led his team to a playoff and 10 wins. And now we're dealing with the fact that in a lot of publications he's ranked below the other two guys. Yeah, I just think it's crazy sometimes how people decide who to vilify and not. Like, why are people not vilifying Carson Beck? I was kind of laughing about him leaving Georgia, and maybe he was forced out, maybe he wasn't. I don't know what the deal was, but they're all chasing money right now. So many of these players are, and it's really – I mean, shoot, just listen to Kirby Smart talk about the type of player he wants. He's been pretty vocal lately, and I think a lot of coaches feel the same way. I think there's a lot of players that are probably not getting I don't think it's fair, because there's a lot of – we cover sports, you guys. There's a ton of great athletes, young men that are playing football right now. There's a ton of them. But – they're waving all this money at people. It's almost like at some point in time you can't blame them. We don't have to like it, but it's the systems the adults in the room created, and now we're going to have to deal with it. And Nico, whatever happened, and I think there's a lot to his story, more than just wanting more money. I've heard a lot of things from a lot of different people. All I know is that UCLA now, I would have never turned him away. If I was Deshaun Foster, I just said yes as soon as he asked. I know the money thing's a big deal. You have to deal with that, but he is a really good athlete, you guys. You watch his film, he's got good feet. Yeah, he misses some throws. Yeah, they're going to point out he didn't play as good against the tougher opponents. But the way I look at that, most players struggle a little bit when they play against the elite team. So, and he was a freshman. So I'm really excited. I haven't seen enough of him in this offense, but I will say this, I am very glad that he's going to be in a new offense this year, not the one that UCLA trotted out there last year. I think Tino was probably the biggest, Sinceri was probably the biggest acquisition of the offseason from Indiana. I just love his enthusiasm. I love the type of offense he runs. And I think it's going to make – I mean, UCLA was one of the worst offenses in the entire country last year. I think it's going to make a big difference right there.
Yeah, you mentioned the offense, and adding Nico is intriguing. And at least you got a guy, but he's got to have some help. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at other spots in the offense, and I can't help but stare at the run game. The numbers last year, third to last in the country. Have they found some guys there that can give Nico the run game that he's going to need to be successful, or are they going to be really leaning on Nico to be that run game?
Well, I hope not. This is the way I view quarterbacks, especially now. This is so different than it was. I remember – when we had Brett Hundley years ago and had a couple of 10-win seasons, I used to beg that guy, run more. But everybody wanted to be a drop-back quarterback because I thought it was going to hurt him in the draft. And I think now we're learning with look what Jalen Hurts has done. Like, being a running quarterback is absolutely, you can win being that type of player. And I don't want him to run recklessly. And we saw what happened at SC. The year after, he wins the Heisman, he had to run around a little bit too much, and it didn't really work. So it's got to be within the confines of the offense. But here's what happened. We brought in a running back from Cal named Javion Thomas, who got to play quite a bit last year in place of Day Knott, who was hurt quite a bit. He averaged over 6 yards a carry for Cal. And if you watch the tape on Javion Thomas, he can play. He can move. He's kind of got that low center of gravity. He's very, very explosive. I think we immediately, by acquiring him, have more speed. I know we lost our running back from last year to SMU, but he is much quicker. He's going to make more guys miss in the hole. Jalen Berger was a transfer from Michigan State a year ago who was kind of banged up last year quite a bit, but every time we saw him, we were like, this guy looks like he can be a player. So I think that 1-2 punch right there. Anthony Woods, a player that came from Utah, has shown signs of being an explosive player. We'll see what we get out of him. I don't know enough about him yet, but I think the running game's going to be better. But again, I'm going to go back to the way the plays were called last year. Deshaun Foster basically had to take over for Chip Kelly late in the cycle, and he had coaches kind of put in place. And I don't think it was exactly what he wanted and what he's been able to do this year with his coaching staff. But that offense, that pro-style offense with the type of players that UCLA had and the offensive line that we had, it just didn't work. The plays took too long to get in. Like, the whole thing was really, really frustrating. I actually think that sometimes when you look at quarterbacks and receivers and why is this guy so good here and he wasn't good there, we undervalue how important offensive coordinators are in the type of system you run. Because if you run a really smart college system, you saw Mike Leach do it for forever. You've seen so many coaches that put in really smart offenses. Well, shoot, you saw it at Indiana last year. They put in a really good offense, and it absolutely worked. And so I think that's a huge part of the equation.
Wayne Cook, former UCLA quarterback, color analyst for the broadcast team for UCLA, joining us. The Utes, of course, going down game one to Pasadena into the Rose Bowl. We talk to you like twice a year when they were playing each other in the Pac-12, and then you get this, the rug ripped out from under everybody, and conferences have all switched up and everything. Feels like home a little bit to have Kyle Whittingham going down to L.A. and take on the UCLA Bruins. What do you see out of Utah in the Big 12? And obviously, having come off of Big 12 Media Days last week, Kyle Whittingham says, Don't do this whole put me into retirement yet here. Like, this is a guy who doesn't like how things ended last year, and right. The Fire's going to be back with Witt up on the hill, and they go to L.A. to face you guys. What do you expect out of the Utes?
Well, first of all, Kyle Whittingham's one of the best coaches college football's ever had, and it's kind of funny because I was thinking back, like, he was an assistant for Urban Meyer, correct?
Yes, he was the defensive coordinator under Urban.
Yeah, I really think about, like, when people judge instead of a retread a new hire. And I think about our coach, Deshaun Foster, and I think about how good our running game was when he was the running backs coach before he became an assistant. And I think of Kyle Whittingham and Utah as a perfect example. First of all, a guy replacing someone who's become a legend and ended up becoming a legend himself. I just think it's really cool when really good assistants get an opportunity. That being said, I don't know about you guys, but I get scared when the retirement stuff starts coming up with coaches. And the only reason why it scares me is because I just wonder if recruits are going, well, if he's only got one more year and I'm a freshman, what am I going to do? That's always kind of a tricky landscape. So I've always liked Utah football. I've always respected Utah football. They've always been a team that I'll root for when UCLA is not playing them. So, I hope he gets to go out on his own terms, and I hope the transition is good. But I expect Utah to be very good again this year. He's just such a good coach. He surrounds himself with such good assistants, and he finds a way to take players that maybe come in as a 3-star guy and turn them into a 4 or 5-star by the time they leave. So I just think for the problem with Utah historically has been, can you find, even in the last several years, like finding a quarterback, and if you find that, you might go to a couple Rose Bowls, right? But if you have injuries and you can't replace that, it's going to be really, really difficult. So I feel like everything else is going to be there. I think if Utah can find a QB that can run the show, and I think they have, if they do that, and they're going to be as dangerous as whatever. And I'll say this to you guys, and this kind of bothers me too. All these conferences out there that are pounding their chest right now, if I hear another SEC coach going, play our 8-game schedule, our 8-game schedule is tough.
Seriously.
Do they have to freaking say that? these conferences, you talk about the Big 12, talk about a conference of parity. We used to say that about the Pac-12 all the time. You got to go 7, 8, 9, 10 deep, and you don't know who's going to jump up and bite you because there's so many, and I'm going to say this, so many good teams. I hate it when people act like, some of these teams aren't good teams when they really are. So I think it's a great conference. I root for our old teams. I'm going to root for my buddy at Arizona. I hope they turn it around this year, Brent Brennan. I played with him in college. I'm really rooting for him. I hope he holds on. But it's a good conference, and I'm telling you what, it's going to be a heck of a game. And not playing at Utah, I'm not going to lie, guys. I love going there. I just don't like playing football there. I'd much rather have Utah come to the Rose Bowl.
Well, actually, Utah's pretty comfortable there, too, to be quite honest. So,
oh, come on.
If I'm telling the truth.
I remember the last time Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Utah came into the Rose Bowl, and we beat Washington and Utah
That's right.
back-to-back.
You're right. They did. Yep.
We'll forget the 2023 dog of a game where neither offense wanted to score.
Yeah, that was gross. Yeah, we've all scratched that from our memory. With the gauntlet that UCLA is facing in conference play, how important is this Utah game to open the season? How important is it for the Bruins to get a win in that game?
Well, it's huge. I mean, it's to me, I look at that one because, who knows what Vegas is going to be. I mean, I know it's exciting to get a big-name coach. I know they've been good. I don't know what, and we played New Mexico also. But you have to get the ones you have to get. Like we were a bowl-eligible team. If we just win 2 of the games, we probably should have won, and we didn't do it. And so that kind of stuff will cost you. But, this year with a big-time quarterback that won 10 games last year, with, I believe, a much improved offensive line, new offensive line coach and Andy Kwan, who I think was a great hire also. We brought in some really good transfers up front. The defense, this is what's going to be weird, you guys, because UCLA's been really good on defense the last few years, but 2 years ago we had a whole bunch of players drafted, and everybody goes, oh, no. Well, last year we had a whole bunch of players drafted and had a really good defense, and everybody's going, oh, no. And then you go out to practice, and everybody's like, man, this linebacking core, which is where our guys got drafted. They're like, this linebacking core is absolutely legit. And then you start watching spring practice, you're like, oh, my gosh, the athleticism. So what Akaika Malloy is doing since Danton Lynn left as a defensive coordinator is absolutely fantastic. So you guys know me. I'm excited every year. We brought in a big-time QB. I thought we made some really good hires as coaches, and I already mentioned Tino Sinceri as the one that I think is going to make the biggest impact. Deshaun Foster's a year into this now, and he's going to be a little bit more experienced. So it's just a really, really big game, and it would probably, if you beat a team like Utah, people pay attention. If you lose the game, people are going to go, yeah, we expected that. Right? So we'll see what happens, but I think I think for both teams, because Utah's coming off a year that they're not used to having. Mm-hmm. I think for both teams, this is going to be a game to kind of announce to the world that, hey, listen, we're here to have a good season.
Last one for you, Wayne. 1 year into Big 10 membership, how does fans, supporters, boosters, administrators, coaches, and players feel about this transition and being a member of the Big 10 1 year in?
You know what? I think it depends on who you talk to. I mean, I'm old enough to have alumni friends that played football from about 4 decades now. And, for a lot of people, and I hope that the college football landscape doesn't forget about the 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds out there that are like, struggling with what this game is becoming. Doesn't mean they still don't love football and don't love watching it, but the constant transfers and the constant turnover and everybody asking for money, and at some point we're having holdouts and all the other stuff that's gonna come from all this. And don't think that with the new the schools can pay the athletes now, that there's and the NIL is going to be really monitored, that there's not going to be a ton of cheating going on. I can already see this happening. So there's a lot of that, but at the same time, I'm going to say the Big Ten was a blast last year. And if you looked at the schools that did well overall, we had Ohio State. Well, first of all, Oregon, I think, won the most championships last year of all the teams. Then Ohio State, Michigan, and UCLA. UCLA had 6 or 7 conference championships in the Big Ten last year, and that includes football, because Oregon won over Ohio State, even though Ohio State won the national championship. So, UCLA is doing fine. But we all know that we love football, right? And we all know that we love basketball. Both those programs, basketball's had a huge – they've brought in a ton of new recruits and some big-time players, and hopefully they're going to bounce back this year. But UCLA football has got to step into that and say, hey, listen, yeah, we're a great school. We win a lot of championships. We're good at everything. But we need to be good at football too, and I think that's what they're fighting their butts off to do right now.
Wayne Cook, UCLA color analyst, former quarterback. Love having you on the program, Wayne. We're looking forward to that August 30th matchup, and we'll chat with you again when we get to that game week possibly here. Thanks for hanging out, man.
Perfect, man. Can't wait to talk to you guys.
There you go. Wayne Cook, everybody. I love how straight of a shooter he is about everything.
Yeah, great insight for Utah fans on that opener, where UCLA's at, and I think we're all, like he's right. Like if you're an old fan, like you're still a little sentimental about the past, and I miss the Pac-10/Big. Obviously, in the Pac-12 was fun when Utah was in it. We are in a weird world of college sports now. We have to adjust and get used to it because it's not going to change. It's not going to turn back in time. But certainly miss those days and miss playing UCLA and USC every year from a Utah perspective and covering those games. And I was in the Rose Bowl, both for 2 Rose Bowls, and then in the Rose Bowl to watch cover regular season Utah UCLA games. Even BYU's made some trips down there recently, so missed those days.
Appreciate Wayne coming on here with us. Want to remind you, tomorrow is a free ticket Friday on the program and across all the station all day long. You can win tickets to Dierks Bentley, the Broken Branches Tour coming to Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater on July 31st. So get tickets now, livenation.com, or visit KSLSports.com yourself. You can click right there and do the contest page, but also listen all day tomorrow, and we're going to have tickets to give away all day. So let's do it. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. When we do, we've got a Would You Rather around the corner. Stay with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody! Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
Suddenly, the entire world are the biggest Coldplay fans on the planet.
This bump music really caught me off guard.
I was not expecting this. Hold on. Is this on camera right now? Is our YouTube channel streaming? I got to duck out of here. JJ and I dancing during the break. Oh, you caught me. So
now that would be a scandal.
If you caught me, I'm over. JJ, we were just trying to enjoy sports together. Instead, the cameras caught us doing a radio show together. Wow, how dare you with this? The privacy that I'm allowed to have in this building should not afford me to be able to be put on the world stage. We did get, by the way, if you're wondering what we're talking about, the most famous CEO that's ever lived.
I think you could search Coldplay CEO on social media and find what we're talking about.
Yeah. So the astronomer CEO, I didn't know what company astronomer was, but their stock is either through the roof today or down in the dumps. I don't know which one it is. So he's on the kiss cam at a Coldplay concert. He immediately ducks out because the person he was with was not his wife. Don't worry, because he put a statement out. It included a quote from Coldplay. I mean, to just put a bow and a hilarious just cherry on top of this whole dumb situation. This guy sucks, first of all.
Bad person.
And then he tried to blame Coldplay for putting him on the screen.
He's acting like consent. A victim. He's cheating on his wife, and he's acting like a victim because he got caught on a kiss cam.
I'm deeply concerned that you put this on the screen.
Piece of crap.
You know what? Yeah, the world is wild. Hey, Hans and Scotty are going to be noon to 3 tomorrow at Mooyah. Burgers, fries, and shakes.
Are we invited?
9710. Just save something for me. Send it back to the station. 9710 State Street in Sandy, your new favorite burger place, Mooyah's.
I mean, Hans is really into saving food and then eating it later, so maybe he'll bring me a burger that I can eat on Monday. Make sure you leave the tomato in the burger for me on Monday.
Pocket burger? Pocket burger? I'll do it.
We really need to monitor him over the weekend, by the way. That pizza might kill him. He might be dead by Monday.
All right. Hey, SEC Media Days are in full swing, or they're just finalized today. And Kirby Smart was asked about, some Auburn reporter asked about going to Auburn this year and playing in there, and he goes, that's an iconic stadium. And even the reporter was like, is it? Because, look, the stadium that Auburn plays in, whatever it's called. And even when you go to Tuscaloosa in Alabama, like you don't think of their stadium as being quote unquote iconic, right?
There's been games that are iconic that have taken place in those venues,
and
but
mostly the Iron Bowl, right? But
Jordan Hare Stadium.
So you wouldn't even
if you
remember.
can't even think of the name, it's
Right.
probably not that
That's what I'm saying.
iconic.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to bring up actual iconic venues in sports, JJ. You tell me which ones are the most iconic. The one you.
I mean, these are like bucket lists. Got to go see a game there, an event, right?
And you and I have been lucky enough to go to places like the Big House, Notre Dame Stadium,
Yes.
the Rose Bowl, at the actual Rose Bowl. Those are like bucket list items for me that our careers have kind of afforded us in those senses. You've been to multiple Super Bowls now at this point, but let's look at some stadiums across the world here. Everything, places you'd want to actually attend an event. A soccer match at Wembley Stadium in London.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That'd be cool.
Or,
I'm not a soccer guy, but that'd be great.
Or, you ready for this? A basketball game at Madison Square Garden, like a Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh,
Madison
wow.
Square Garden.
Oh, MSG.
MSG.
Yeah.
The Rose Bowl, at the Rose Bowl, you've been, but in terms of a iconic place and an iconic game and an iconic, the weather's always phenomenal. You got the sun going down over the San Gabriel Mountains, all that.
As cool as the basketball mecca is in MSG, college football, especially if it was your favorite, if it was your school, playing in that venue with those mountains there and everything that goes in the pageantry of the Rose Bowl. I've been to the Rose Bowl. It's the Rose Bowl.
Okay.
It's an easy Rose Bowl.
Fenway or Wrigley?
I want to go to Wrigley more than Fenway.
I've been to both.
And?
Wrigley.
Really?
Yep. I did the tour at Wrigley, and I loved it.
And I just Wrigley sounds more appealing to me.
It's cool. You got to get there like late, like when the ivy's up. You know,
I have not been in the Red Sox. I have not been in Fenway, but I've
Fenway?
walked around
Yeah.
Fenway. I've seen the building.
Yeah, and Yankee Stadium can't even be in this conversation because they moved it, and it's not the real. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm out on that.
Right.
Boy, we don't have time for all the other
Lambeau
ones.
Field is one I'd throw out there. I want to experience Lambeau.
I'm trying to think too. In the NFL, we don't look at stadiums as being iconic. I think Lambeau would be the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cowboy Stadium is a destination. It's definitely a
I've
tourist
been
trap.
there. It's just a big giant stadium.
It's a tourist trap.
Yeah.
You know they're charging to do the tours there now?
Oh my gosh.
$75.
That's stupid.
It's almost $100 to go on a tour.
That's a shame. It's shameful that they're doing
around
that.
the stadium. All right. We'll take a break here. We'll come back. We've got more to go around the corner. Speaking of Mountain West Media Days, Sam Farnsworth, KSL 5 TV sports anchor, live in Vegas. He's going to give us an update as to how this thing went down and some thoughts as to where Boise State is the preseason favorite. Shocker going into this one, to what Coach Bronco Mendenhall has to say about his team and what Bryson Barnes can do for the Aggies this year in their final year of the Mountain West. Stay right here, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.